Justin, second by Larry, to approve the minutes of the 23rd meeting. All those in favor? Okay. The minutes of the June 30th special meeting. Moved by Justin, second by Cale, to approve the minutes of the June 30th meeting. All in favor? And the minutes of the July 7th special meeting.
Second.
Okay. First?
First.
Moved by Larry, second by Justin, to approve the minutes of the July 7th special meeting. All those in favor? Alright, consent agenda. We need permission for clerk to pay insurance at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utilities at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utility incentives before the 25th of the month, permission for clerk to pay theater bills when due, permission for clerk to pay payment service network bills when due, permission for clerk to pay city attorney bills when due. Moved by Larry, second by Dara, to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor? Sheriff report, you guys.
You guys get a copy of that, all of our incidents. I think Janelle said she sent it over.
Who's that on the
I
share?
make
Should be.
copies if you guys need them. I ran out.
And I can as
Janelle
well.
said she sent them over.
Are they in the packet?
Okay, you guys usually get copies of them. I don't know if Cody usually gives a copy.
Yeah,
I usually
give
get
us
theirs.
out.
Looks like
We'll
this.
have to get 'em. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
I'll go get some.
Okay.
I can make copies.
Okay. Okay, so we had a total of 85 incidents within the city limits. We had 6 traffic stops, 3 accidental 911s. Agency assist, I believe we had 2 of those. Oh, no, 1 was motorist assist. Animal calls, we had 9, which I believe there was 3 citations issued for 9 of those, out of 9 of those animal calls. Traffic citations, I'm unsure if, I don't believe there were any traffic citations, but I was not able to get those. We had an argument, worthless child in need of care. Citizens complaint, we had 6, just civil process, paper service 13. Disorderly conduct, we had 1. We had an agency assist with the ambulance. Let's see here, follow-ups 15, which follow-ups, that could mean anything from, some of our other stuff that we're doing. Follow-ups doing exactly, usually they're in addition to something else on here, I think Cody's explained it before. Motorist assist, we had 1. Motor vehicle accident, we had 1. I believe, if I remember right now, just fender bender, might have been Jonathan. That one, so motor vehicle accident, just 1. Property damage, only had 2. Reckless driver, 1. Road debris, 1. 2 scam calls, 1 sexual offense. 3 suspicious vehicles, 1 trespassing, 1 vandalism, 1 warrant arrest, and 1 warrant search. And then 4 welfare checks. Do you guys have any questions over any of those incidents or any other ones?
There was a second vicious dog ticket,
What's that?
right? Vicious dog.
I believe, I'm not sure if the first one was, I wrote 2 of. I wrote 1 for dog at large and I wrote 1 for vicious dog, I'm not sure what yours. Okay, so there's another one for
So
vicious
there'll
dog.
be some
Yep.
dog cases coming through too. this
Yeah,
report.
yep, so I just wrote mine here last week, about last week, so they're probably not gotten through yet. So that was what we had with Dawn, so, any other questions for it?
I will tell you guys, Janelle and I've had some conversations as we're trying to get this report kind of refined just for inside the city limits. And so you're probably gonna notice tonight, like you aren't seeing the VIN inspections and stuff on there. Her and I talked about it, cause that's really a county service. And so she is working really hard to refine this report.
Yeah, and I kinda skipped over some of the ones that, like, meeting, I mean, that's, we mark that as an incident anyway, but meeting's kinda that one where nothing really obviously happens.
So this is
So I
an
kinda-
incident tonight?
What's that?
This is an incident tonight?
I don't believe they put it as an incident tonight. Generally, everything we do though is an incident, so whether it's a meeting, training, whatever it is, we usually get an incident created, whether that obviously goes anywhere skipped over quite a few of those that were more or less kind of not useful information. Anything else for me?
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep, not a
Thanks,
problem.
guys. I heard a motion
Thank
to
you.
accept and file the sheriff's report. Moved by Larry, second by Justin, all in favor to approve the sheriff report. Okay. Tap, you're up.
I'll stand
You're
up.
not talking,
I'm not
talking, but you're
talking.
standing up first.
Well, I guess we're here because, first of all, on there, we're wanting some water hydrants. We'd like to have 2 water hydrants put in. And I know I've talked to Dan, he said he's short help and stuff. But, we'd like to have 2 hydrants put in because we're wanting to plant buffalo grass around the 1st of August to cover up a lot of that bare area so it's not blowing dirt all the time and stuff. So, I'm not sure what, Dan can do, but we have found somebody that we can hire to do the labor. So we thought maybe if the city would supply the materials for the hydrants and what we need, we can go ahead and pay the labor for the person to do the work.
Do we know how much those hydrants will be?
What's that?
Do you know how much the hydrants will be?
You know, I don't know what those hydrants run. I don't know what they run.
Right now, the only hydrant is between the scout hut and the pool. Or the bathhouse.
And it's not a hydrant.
No.
It's just a deal hooked up to where it's not a hydrant. We are using it, but we need 2 hydrants there. And so we're just gonna see if that would work on that part of it. Cause we would like to, we're gonna be buying $1,200 worth of buffalo seed. And we're not gonna plant everything the buffalo's grass this round because we don't know if we'll have enough water to keep up with it. So then we got a large spot to try to plant next year. So,
Which the buffalo grass will go between, kind of squaring up the pickleball and the volleyball.
yeah. That'll be where the cornhole throwing contest will be, is where that buffalo grass will be planted. But, yeah, I don't know what those hydrants are done.
What phase are you in?
This is still 2.
This too.
It's the recreational middle section and
How many total phases were there? 3, 4?
What's that?
How many total phases were there?
3 right now.
3, 4.
What are we gonna do to find out what taps are gonna cost, or whatever they need?
I think so.
See if
So we
we
don't,
Blowing
see what it costs?
dirt down there.
Yeah. Was there sprinkler systems already there?
What's that?
Was there sprinkler systems already there?
There's a sprinkler system there on the grass. This over where the buffalo grass, there will be no sprinkler system in there. We're just gonna try to get it watered in good, get it going. And then, yeah, probably each summer we'll water it a couple of times, but it'll be to where it won't be near as much maintenance as the grass is going to be, so we wanted to just put the buffalo grass.
Pretty much where the old pool was,
Right?
where that
Mhm.
came out.
Move
You move to
to pay for the
pay
taps.
for the tap. Justin has moved to pay for the tap.
Is there I'm just gonna ask, is there a limit how much we'll pay? There's 500, I think, that was budgeted this year for the tap part. Just putting that out there.
Do we wanna see how much they are first, or? Do we want a limit, or-
You have any kind of a gut feeling? Nothing?
I think like $100 a piece.
I'd guess you're gonna do that.
Yeah. Is there anything else good being with it? Saddles and whatever?
And that's a tease, I'm sure. But I don't know what it costs.
Just 3/4.
2 inch? Put that 2 inch line in, right?
Yeah, that's a 2-inch line in there.
approve the water taps not to exceed 500. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Larry, all in favor? All right. There you
For
go.
$500?
Up to 500,
Up to
yeah, not to
500,
not to
okay.
exceed 500, yeah.
Right, okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hydrants are gonna cost, and I think those saddle deals will probably be kinda expensive, won't they?
Probably for 200, I don't know how much,
So, okay. Okay, I guess while we're here, I can explain a little bit about the lights down there, and I know Russ is here tonight, but, that was all designed by Stanton Electric to try to flood down onto the volleyball court and the pickleball court. It is shooting across the top of the pool house. The west lights on the pickleball court are shooting across. We was down there last week and we looked at it, we came up with an idea we're gonna try to do, and then I don't know what we can do after that. We're gonna spin the west lights a half a turn. We'll be shooting them north and south, they'll be crisscrossing instead of shooting toward the east. Cause the very west lights on the pickleball court are shooting toward the east and coming across the top of the pool house. So we're gonna turn them a half a turn and try to shoot them north and south, and then that shouldn't be near as much light coming across. So we're gonna try to do that hopefully this week.
It will also give buffalo grass and horseshoes, it'll give a little bit more light to that also. Right now, it's pretty dark outside of the courts.
So we're hoping that'll remedies some of Russ's issue there, because it's just clearing the pool house, those west lights, so we're gonna just turn them north and south, shoot them north and south instead of straight east. So I think that's all we've got.
Well, we've got the outhouse, if any of
Oh.
you have noticed, there's an outhouse down there. Phase 3 is the bathhouse, that's pretty much starting over, so there's no restroom facilities down there. So we are right now through the summer, probably, renting that outhouse. They come once a week and clean it. It, actually is very, very sanitary. I mean, it doesn't seem to have, and it will stay there probably till September. So,
And everything's, both volleyball and pickleball, especially pickleball, being used quite a bit. A lot of people showing up. People playing volleyball yesterday morning down there, so there's people using it. So,
Good. That's nice.
Is there any hours, like what time they shut down at night?
we haven't set that parameter yet, we're going to, but we haven't got to it yet. So,
is there any recommendations that we should think of? You know, as we go forward, it's gonna get darker, so the lights are gonna be on probably more. So, you know, as far as looking at times that it should be open or lock it down at a certain time, that type of thing. Also, we've talked about security cameras,
Does law enforcement have any input as far as hours on the park and shutting it down?
like the basketball court.
I don't know, I was thinking around maybe 10, 11, something like that. I mean,
10 generally for a
10,
noise thing.
10
Yeah.
seems like a good, I mean, I don't see any reason why they couldn't be open to 11 if somebody requests that they want them open a little longer or something. So maybe, yeah, maybe normal 10 o'clock, and if somebody requests, maybe they just gotta go through the process to request a little longer or something.
Is that kinda what you guys were thinking, or
We
you don't
hadn't
really know?
one thing was thrown out once is like during winter months, be shut off by 10 o'clock. Summer months, during the weekday at 11 o'clock, then on weekends, maybe an hour longer, I don't know. Most of them that are going down there, when they turn on the lights, they don't stay too long after they turn on the lights. And there's a button to push to turn them off. If they push the 2-hour button, we'll try to tell everybody, if you're leaving and you push the 2-hour button, push the bottom button, they'll go off. So that they're not running for another hour and a half if they left early. So. But we'll get to work on that parameters as far as get a sign up and so forth, so.
Anything else for the TAP committee? All right,
Okay,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
yep. Robert, you're up.
Okay, so at the airport, a long, long time ago, I put solar panels on the old Grace Flying Service office, which is now the airport terminal building. And when I did that, I talked to JR, and he said, no problem, we'll put a meter in, an electrical meter that does net metering. So the way it works is, if the electricity's coming from the city to the office, it spins one way, and if the solar panels are putting out more power than you're using, then it spins backwards. What that does is it results in one number on the meter. But then here, last November, I put some solar panels on my office at the airport. It's basically a hangar. And I talked to the city, and Dad came up and they put in a meter designed to do this, but it's different because now it has two numbers on it. It tells how much came from the city to my hangar, and it tells how much came from my hangar to the city. And so for November and November, December, and January, and February, and March, that worked out because the sun's lower in the sky and the days are shorter and I'm using more power. So every month, when Jen did the bill, I still had a net bill. But now, there's months where I'm putting more power back in than I'm taking out. And the accounting software that the city has is like choking on that. And so Jen and I talked about it, and she said, I need to come down and talk to you guys and find out. This is basically, it's not just a technical question, it's a policy question. Do you want to continue with what's called net metering, just trading kilowatt hours? Or do you want to do something else? Because the new meter allows that, because it has two numbers instead of one. And then I guess, depending on what you guys decide, maybe it would be, I think for Jen, it would be nice if we could get the software fixed, so my bill wasn't a special case every month. I mean,
That's a
that's,
special case.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing now, when it was Grace Flying Service, he never had a credit. I mean, it just always used more than he pushed back in, and so now that's not the case. So right now, except for the last 2 months when I've been trying to calculate it, I've got to fix those. We've been allowing the net metering, so basically all he's been having to pay is the meter charge. And actually, it's interesting the way this meter's programmed to see it. But when Robert came in, I said, I can't let you have a credit. And so that's what he's here tonight, wants to know if you guys he wants to keep track, and then as he starts using more, then he would have, I'd put dollar credits back on when he started having a bill again, other than the meter charge.
Yeah, the way, and I should have said that, the first thing is the $19.75 a month plus tax, I should pay every month no matter what, because I'm connected to the city, and the way I see that is a connection charge. The way it's done a lot of different ways. The way that I thought it was going to be done when I put the panels in is that if I had an excess, I would carry it. The city never pays me money, but I would carry the credits forward. So like by, let's say, September, if I have 400 kilowatt hours of extra that I've given the city, then I would start using those to pay my October and November bills when I'm in a deficit, when I'm generating less than I'm taking. And then typically what they do is on March 31st, they just zero it out. So you can't, I couldn't ever accumulate more credit than 1 year, that it would just go to zero in March. And here it might be March 15th, but just because you guys bill on the 15th. But I mean, that would be for me the ideal way to do it, but I'm asking.
Just so I understand, how does it feed back to the city?
It pushes back, just like a generator would.
The way I see it, what happens is when I get an extra kilowatt hour at the airport, it goes back up into the city, it goes down to my house. wasn't it either. I mean, that's what, it's essentially, I'm just adding to the grid sometimes, just like the power company. And other times I'm taking from the grid like everybody else. But I'm now an electrical producer sometimes.
Yes, how do we fix it?
There's no fixing it on my end. It is a little bit of extra work, but it's doable once I kinda get the system down. So it's a policy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we aren't bound to do that for customers. And then the other question would be, if you're gonna allow him to have a credit at what we charge for electricity or at our cost for electricity. So those are a couple of things that I thought of that you need to consider if you make this. The software's doing what it's supposed to, I just can't allow Robert to have, I mean, and I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out there, his bills are up front, but a $200 credit on electric, because I know that's not our policy. Our policy is to allow the net metering to zero.
Right, the question is it net metering to zero for one day or for 1 year? That's the bottom line. Because I will probably be zero by next March, or negative actually, I'm guessing, although I don't know that for sure, but I think I will, and if I'm not, it'll just get zeroed out. But the accounting question here is, can I carry my excess forward or not? And like Jen says, the way it was in the past is it was just dollar for dollar. You gave retail price for the credit, because the meter only ran forward and back. But now you have the option of having two different prices.
So basically, he's asking you to buy the power back that he's producing. I guess that's the best way to put it
Right.
is.
Any other thoughts?
I'd have to call some power companies and see what they're doing. As far as I know, there's not many people paying back for solar.
Actually, I looked it up, and there's quite a few states where they have format retail. Like, it's not, there's 16 states or something where they do do it.
Well, I'd stick to Kansas if I called it.
Yeah, well, and, yes, I agree.
But I don't think, like Prairie Land, I don't think they're doing that. But I can't swear to that.
No, I think the state law requires them, but they only have to pay wholesale, not retail. Right.
Just check into it, see,
Yeah,
it's
it's like
like
that.
that.
We'll do a little more checking on it,
What's that name?
and
Okay, so the other thing is this new, so I need to know, fairly soon, because this new tax law expires at the end of this year, and if you guys don't, if you wanna give me less money, then my other option is to buy batteries, and then I wouldn't send it to you, I'd store it in my batteries, but I need to get moving on that, because there's a tax credit up until the end of the year, so, I mean, do you think you'll know by the next meeting, or?
we can do some checking and we'll discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yep, that works, alrighty,
Thank you.
yep, thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Yep. Scott, you're up.
I hear about my commercial lot that I bought. I don't even know what day it was, honestly, I didn't have a chance to look, but it's been over a year, and I'm just here, I'm moving forward, I have a building on site, I hauled all the dirt. I finally got Brock McAtee to commit to next week, actually, to doing the concrete work for me.
So if you
We're
remember.
crossing our fingers and holding our breath.
If you remember when he bought the lot, the stipulation with the properties in the industrial park is usually they have a year to erect a building. We did during COVID have one that we gave 2 years just because of availability of supplies and getting stuff done. He has moved forward, he's done dirt work, he's actually progressed on his lot, but that did expire in February, I
Was it
believe.
February?
I did visit with Lauren and I thought she was gonna do a corrective deed, do you have it?
No, what she said was you all decide, she's got it ready to go when you guys decide what length of time you're going to give him. And then she can have it, when she gets here, she'll fix it, you can sign it after the meeting and then it'll be good. Yeah.
I'm fine.
Give him 2 years to extend it till February.
Yeah, Yeah.
So we'll just do a corrected date to give you 2 years instead of the year, and that'll give you till February of 26 to complete if
Yeah,
that.
that should be perfect, thank you.
Okay, yep,
Thank you.
we'll get that deed taken care of then.
Thank you.
All right, Russ.
Yeah, good evening. Got some pictures here.
I think, yep, I think they just came around.
Now, are they? Yeah, but except there's two new ones. How's that, these are adjustable lights. Looks good to hold that part good. These two right here, that's after the adjustable lights. And I'm glad that they, got a place for the kids and everything to go. I really appreciate that. And better put my glasses on so I can see anything. Through all the years of living down there, with the pool and everything, the old pool, we've never had no problems or anything like that. We just, the kids, I've always liked it when the kids holler and scream and everything. But however, the floodlights with this new tap, it has a very big issue, as you can see with the pictures. The lights come across, they're in my living room, they're in my kitchen, they're in my bedroom.
But you guys haven't turned those yet, have you?
No,
Well, they adjusted them once, and it didn't.
that was just to try to turn them down more.
Well, the whole thing about it is, really, you need to put a cover over it, because they're floodlights. They come out like this, they don't go just straight down. You need to put a cover over them, so it will keep them from going out, cause if you just adjust them back the other way like you're talking, it ain't gonna do no good.
But they're shooting to the east now, we're gonna turn the west lights north and south.
Yeah, that's good thing.
And that should take care of a lot of it, I don't know if it'll take care of all of it, everybody's gonna try that first, and then we see what, if that doesn't do it, then we'll have to figure out something. Now, I don't know how we put a hood on it really.
Well, you're gonna do it north and south, there's nothing there except for Bonnie and, Mike, Jim Hill, their house we put to the south. And, the other thing is, I got a problem with macular, and the lights really bother me. I got dry in the left, wet in the right, I get a shot every, which is none of you guys' concern, this is what I'm going through. I get a shot in my right eye every 2 months, bright lights really bother me. And, as you can see with those pictures, one of them is the blinds are, well, the shears are pulled, and you can see the bright lights coming in the house. But, if they could get some covers or belts or something, put the light down, but if you just adjust them, floodlights are gonna flood out, they always have. You need to put something down on them to shine down on the court. That's all I'd like to have.
We're gonna try,
Okay.
we're gonna try. We're gonna turn them first and see what happens, then after that, we'll see what we need to do.
Okay, well, I can already tell you the term that ain't gonna do no good, 'cause floodlights flood out. You can turn them any which way you want, but they're still.
The two of those lights will be shooting away from you.
Well, I doubt it, because they shine out around, they just don't shine out east and west or south and west.
They might
and
not,
south.
but we're gonna try it first.
Okay,
Then we'll go from there.
alrighty.
Go ahead and get that done this week, and we'll see what we can do, okay?
Okay.
Anything else, Russ?
No, that should be it.
All right, thank you.
There's a lot of others, but I mean, this year's been quite the year for me. Co-op brought in their post and poles over there that was Sea Crow. If the wind's not blowing too hard, I get snow that all. So, but I'm not bringing that up either, so.
Okay, well, we'll work on the lights and see if we can't get the
I
result. for you,
appreciate
okay?
the lights, would be the biggest thing.
Okay, alrighty, thank you. Trash waiver application for 539 East Third, Kip and Dion's.
No.
No, it's a new one.
Just use it for storage.
Thank you,
Favor,
yes.
Small business incentive application for Reed Cree at Twisted L Liquor. Thanks, Russ.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna point out that Jen pointed out on the applications that we asked for the Kansas sales tax ID, they wouldn't have that, but they'd have a liquor tax ID. It's on the form, there must be a reason we have it on the form. I'm not 100% sure why we asked for that, but I have reached out to, Liz, is that, yeah. And so they will get back with me with their liquor tax ID, and then we will fill in that spot.
Okay.
And then I will do some research and find out why we're even asking, so.
And they for sure have it, because they got their liquor
Right.
permit, so.
Is there a motion to approve the small business incentive for Reed Cree for Twisted L Liquor? Moved by Justin, second by Kale, all in favor? All right. Building permits.
Both fences. No issues. I'm gonna approve.
Second.
Moved by Larry and second by Kale to approve the two building permits. All in favor? Review of 2026 budget.
So y'all should have a packet that looks like this on the top. And I'm gonna try to, it should be pretty fast, but I wanna point out some changes, that you need to know about. So this is the actual budget workbook that I've got here. The very first thing, when Danielle sent it back, she had, when she initially sent me the budget workbook, she had populated it with incorrect, assessment values, and so they were too low. So what that means to us is two things. Once we raise that, then of course it's gonna make our mill levy go down because now the valuations are higher. Secondly, it's also going to increase the amount of tax revenue that the library is going to get because they are set at 4.5 mils. So when the valuations go up, the dollar amount's gonna go up. So you're gonna see that when I go through this. That's the one change that we didn't know about when we did the workshop. So I'll show you how that affects the overall budget, but it's really not significant, except for the library. It's significant for them. They're going to get some more money. So hope that makes sense. The very first page, this is the certificate page, which basically shows what it is right now with the budget, with the changes that we made. I'm not gonna go too much detail here because I'm gonna talk about all the differences when we go through the rest of it, but these are the current numbers for our budget, for all the different funds, for the expenses, okay? I'll show you how they differ from what we talked about at the budget workshop. So the second page, no changes there. That was the motor vehicle tax estimates, no changes with that. The schedule of transfers, we didn't have to do anything with our transfers. We didn't have to increase anything. So those are all exactly the same as they were. Of course, nothing changes with our debt. So the statement of indebtedness and conditional lease, those don't change at all. The next page, if you're there, is page 6. This is the page in the budget workbook that estimates for the library whether or not they can get the grant. And here's the first place where you can see the increased assessed valuation. On the right-hand side is the amount that it was when we did the budget workshop, and the $14,843,566 is the correct value. So you can see up above that increases the amount for the library that they're gonna get, difference in their total taxes. So it was $67,687, and now it's gonna be $72,184. So they're gonna see a pretty good increase because of that. The next page is the general fund, and the only differences you're gonna see here, this is the general fund revenue. Whenever you make changes to anything, up or down, you're gonna see a change in the neighborhood revitalization, and that is a calculation within the workbook that's set by the state. I don't have any control over that. It automatically does the calculation and determines what our revitalization rebate's gonna be, so that's why you see a difference in that. So obviously, that then affects, the revenue, but it's very small. It's $338 is all it affected our revenue. Any questions on that? Okay. The next one's the, general fund, expenditures. Both the next two pages talk about that. This is where you're gonna see the changes that, you made in the workshop for the roadside park, the courthouse park, and TAP. And so that was $7,000 in increases that you had approved. The good news on all of that is that we still, if you look on the left-hand page at the very bottom beneath where it says ad valorem tax, that 380,849, that was the 3%. That was what we were trying to stick to or stay under, and you can see that we did. Even with the 7,000 increase, we are still below your 3% increase, so everything looks good. I didn't have to make any adjustments to transfers or anything like that. So, again, the right-hand side there are the numbers that were looked at the budget workshop, and the actual page here is what we're sitting at right now. So, and again, another calculation that gets changed is the delinquent comp rate. You can see that it was adjusted slightly, and that is also an internal calculation in the workbook that I don't have any control over, and so that's why that's a different number. So the amount of ad valorem tax that we are going to levy for the city, not counting the library, is $378,273. And again, that's less than the 3% that we targeted, so looking good. Any questions on that? The next page was just to show you specifically in the details where it came from, and that was all in the Parks and Rec department. Next page, no changes in the bond and interest. The library, lots of changes, but only because of the assessed valuations going up for them. So they're getting the 4.5, nothing changed there, but it did change the dollar amount in the ad valorem taxes that they're going to get. It raised it from $62,293 up to $66,790.
I have a question.
Yes.
Just so when cause sometimes at the end of the year, I have to look and see what we've got left, or if we can get them up to the.
Oh, for the library, yes.
What's we always have in there under miscellaneous, $250?
Just for miscellaneous, just in case there's a fluctuation in what we get. Like, let's say they don't, we think they're gonna get 70,705. The auditors put that in just as almost like a buffer, so we can give them that if we happen to get that much more than what we budgeted for the allocations. Otherwise, it carries over to next year, like you see at the top, 1,380. Well, that was really from last year, but we didn't have the budget authority to give it to them, so it carries over, and now it's in 2026. So the library had that question as well. They were concerned that they weren't getting the full amount of the taxes that were distributed, and sometimes that's true because we are guessing right now what they're going to get next year. So we try to budget a little high so that if it does fluctuate, we're able to have the budget authority to give them what we get. But if we don't have that budget authority, they're not losing that money. It's just going to carry over to the next year, and we try to then move it forward and make sure they get it the next year. The bottom line is we can't exceed budget authority, so no matter what, that's the maximum they're going to get is what the budget authority says for that year. Does that make sense? Okay. Jen? Something?
That totally makes sense. I just
Okay.
always seen that one, like, I don't see any other bill values. So
Yeah,
I always say, well, but that
it's like a
makes sense,
buffer.
just a-
It's kind of like that cash forward in some of the other funds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Special highway, nothing changed there. Special parks, nothing changed there. The next page is the utility fund, and the only thing that changed there was we had talked about potentially higher wages, for the clerk. So I adjusted the wages based on what was discussed and, put that in the calculations. So that's what you see there is the increase for that. It's the wages, Social Security, Medicare, and Capers increase based on what was discussed. So that's what that is, about 5,500 increase over what was already budgeted. So, any questions on that? Okay, refuse, there were no changes. Oh, sorry, sewer, no changes. Tourism, no changes. In fact, I don't think there's any changes. Nothing in the infrastructure sales tax, budgeted funds. The very last two pages, as you're flipping through them, the one that's on the left is the budget that we're currently looking at to probably approve. The one on the right was from the budget workshop, and I just wanted you to see the comparison between the two, and that the increases are not huge from what we looked at in the workshop. The big thing to look at here is how the increase in the assessed valuations affected the mill levy. Before, we were sitting at 31.331 over on the right-hand side, and with the valuations going up like they did, it's now down to 29.984. Dollar amount didn't increase very much, but because of that, the mill levy is lower. And total mill levy, though, because of the library still gets 4.5 regardless. So for the city, it's 25.484 for just the city's part of it. That's on the left-hand side on that page. If you guys think this looks good and you're good with it, tonight you don't approve the budget tonight, but we do have to notify the county clerk that we're going to exceed the RNR, which we are. Our revenue neutral rate was 28.544, and that's the amount to levy if we wanted to stay revenue neutral, which is nearly impossible to do because prices are always going up. So, but we're not too much above that. And so at 29.984, we're going to have a motion tonight for our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate. And in your motion, whoever makes this, we need to state that our proposed mill levy rate is 29.984, and that our public hearing and R&R hearing will be August 25th at 7 p.m. Maybe somebody can just say what she said. I don't know.
It's been moved and seconded for the intent to go over the revenue neutral rate, with a mill levy rate of 29.984, and a hearing date set for August 25th. You need an individual vote, right?
Yes, we do.
Bud? Yep. Cale? Larry?
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Justin, yes. All right.
Okay.
You need me to sign this copy?
Yes, you can. So that's what that is. I just wanted everybody to see what's going to get sent over to the county clerk.
It says seal, though. Is this seal?
What's that?
It has a seal. Do you have a seal?
I
Sign that or didn't?
Oh, I can sign it. Actually, I get to sign it.
Okay, well,
I can sign this one. I can sign this one. Okay. And so the only other thing that goes along with this that I forgot to bring up at the budget workshop, and I asked Dan to have this ready, and he did, and then I forgot. We are supposed to have a 5-year plan for our capital improvement fund and our equipment reserve fund. And we've kind of been, sometimes we have them, sometimes we don't. And it's not anything that's set in stone, it's a plan. And basically the purpose of it is so that you can look at it and say, these are the things that we would like to do in the next 5 years with the funds that we have in our non-budgeted funds, our capital improvement and our equipment reserve. That also includes the infrastructure improvement fund, We don't have that here because generally it's been agreed that that was going to be for streets. So we don't have a separate list for that, but we do have one that Dan put together for the capital improvement and equipment reserve. And if Dan, you want to talk about any of that on there? Does anybody have any questions for Dan on what he put on his list?
Infrastructure extension and betterment, I have no idea what that means, I stole it from JR. Oh, it
It's kind of intended for the public, really, to be able to say, what's your plan? You've got this money, what are your plans? And you have something that you can show, these are our plans. And you're not stuck to this every year. It's really recommended to review it every year at budget time, you know, and make sure everything still looks good.
And
I-
with our electric, how many years have we been doing that? The 200,000, and have them come in and do the.
3 or 4, isn't
Three
it?
or four,
It was when I was still here,
I was
JR
gonna say, I
was
thought it was
here.
longer than that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jared was.
the first
Because
year.
the first year we got all the materials, and then we started,
I think JR's here for a couple years, 2 or 3 years.
the first year we did all the lines to the wells, right? And that was when JR was still here.
Prelims, up there.
But that was our initial work on electrical was that. And then we got
I
all
think
the,
we started behind Main Street, so. Kind of wishing we,
when we first started, it was the lines to the wells, and that's it. It's been 5 years ago.
It's been at least 2020.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think I feel like it was 2020 or so, maybe even 19, but not sure. So on these, I just need a motion to approve the capital improvement and equipment reserve 5-year plans.
So moved.
Second by Gail, all in favor? Have that on the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Property cleanup,
hopefully figure out Benton, and that was 7 south.
Who does?
Should talk about it.
Is he doing something with it, or is he just, is it his family? Oh.
Probably doing something else. Something else.
Mhm.
So we just need to send a letter to them. That's what that's it.
We'll put up one of those and do it.
Yeah, that man up there, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
We'll go ahead and skip those two.
Ben in college? Yeah, it's all- Her Ben in college.
Oh. Yeah, we talked about that one too. Did they decide to send a letter to that one before, or no?
I thought we did that.
Anyone?
So,
I don't know which house they-
The roofing, all the shingles, did we,
Yeah, the letter didn't know.
no, we talked about sending one. Shingles.
I didn't see it, I guess. You ever buy some house? On Bruce Street?
We was mowing it the other day.
Still bushes all over the place. Can't see the house. All the big sapling trees in the back.
Oh, that's like our old house down here, has all the trees growing around.
Mhm.
It burned. You know, across from timber.
Oh,
It's got trees starting. Could be a problem.
yeah. Everybody okay with these two? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the other ones, I mentioned, doesn't matter.
Pictures again, or?
Keep pictures out of them. So,
Similar.
I can get pictures of checkbook, letters,
checkbook, flyers,
Easter.
Easter. What's that one?
We'll look at it first.
That's going out. Open up the, so. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was trying to blank on the name until you said that.
What if, and the other one was beside that, then? No, they were on.
Might look at them.
Yeah.
What were the other two? Last two?
McCoy and to the east of there. Right? The east and west of the east.
Yeah.
Is McCoy still in that one up by the Goop House?
I've been there.
I think I just didn't drive around, I can't remember. Everybody drove around.
Couldn't even been done about the other. We just-
The one, remember we gave the letter extending, and how is she doing, do you know? Last time I was by it, I don't know that.
Some of those things that
And the one on West Williamston was issued a citation. Right?
I didn't see that on the list.
I think we just did that in July.
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I think that's right.
July.
There is a citation and it's out there and it is for the first appearance on the August 13th, not April. Excuse me,
Okay.
August 13th municipal court date.
Okay. So do we want to send letters to those others, or do we want?
Have them look at it.
Have them look at it?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll work.
I say police the Doyle one. I mean, you don't know that one, I think. The one up by Schultz. No, Schultz, Scott.
Oh. We've talked about that one. Oh, we've talked about this one.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we get pictures to support it,
They did get it, I guess they're.
when you have nothing else to do.
I mean, not tonight after we're done.
Maybe, might be better getting.
Some of them, yeah. Okay, well, we'll have Dan pictures and you guys are gonna send in what we discussed and
Mhm.
some more next meeting. Okay, that'll work. Projects pending, anything on the list there? This is the list, it's like on the third page almost.
About the street beautification.
Washington Street beautification.
Them trees is getting pretty thin.
What do you think we'll have to end up, get trees taken off Main Street?
Is that something that could be hired out, or is it complication with the lines and stuff underneath?
Yes and no, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt because of the lines. Last time we had to dig to a ground and then cut all the roots and then hold it up. Cause the problem is the trees out there, the pits.
What'd you say?
Hire someone to come in and carve something really nice out of the stumps that are left.
We could probably get, what's his name, to build us a
And then they probably die.
statue. We could get, what's his name, to make a statue to mount on top of them.
Right. Swagger.
Yeah. Streets project, anything on the streets?
Had
Maybe
one-
you would meet with the committee thing again and see what's, what
Yeah,
we can do.
I think that's a good idea. I had one thought, we've been talking about the,
There was a there were a couple changes. That you brought,
as far as priorities,
that weren't on there, yeah,
Yeah.
but,
this is just my take on this a little bit. I realize the Angle Road's in bad shape, but I kinda wonder, and I know it's a truck route, but I kinda wonder if we need to focus a little bit more on actual in-town stuff versus Angle Road short term. Just a thought, I think everybody, at least kick it around and think it over.
Well, and Dan and I talked about that block up by there, just pricing what it'd be to concrete it or even part of it where the buses are turned in to keep it from, you know, it'd be worth maybe looking into.
Next 20 or 30 feet of concrete up there, cause you got activity buses turning on the time.
It's a good
That would
idea.
maybe, cause that was a pretty expensive block.
Right, but yeah, but it has to do the whole thing, that's what it says.
Yeah.
Probably 250.
Probably
Mhm.
save us $500.
I said, just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, Dan and I were talking there. Some, doing something that gonna last, you know, maybe cost us, but gonna
Right.
last longer. With the bus traffic.
I was gonna talk to Rob today, and I didn't catch up with him.
Might check with them and just see if that would be the concrete part or all of it, and that way, that'd give us another option.
I'd like
still thinking crack sealing this fall?
About the plan.
Is there,
I'm gonna do what you guys told me to do.
well, you talked about getting a bunch of crack sealing done to stabilize some things. Any chance of doing any more chip sealing, north, south, couple streets?
If we find any that are worth chip sealing.
Because we talked about it, because the ones we thought about chip sealing are Francis is a good chip,
Francis.
too far gone.
What about the hospital by yours? That was part of the, one of those on there, I think.
Those 2 blocks,
Yeah.
yeah, we talked about those 2 blocks on, that, Quincy. Did we just chip Adam or no?
I don't think
No.
Did we talk about?
that was one of the ones that
This
we
wasn't
talked
in
about.
trucks.
Cause we did River, Quincy, Scott, and Benton, right, so Adams wasn't, nothing done to it. Denison, those would be the last 2, right, going north and south, cause then Francis is too far gone to actually see.
And Dennison needs them big cracks filled first. That's
So
for
it'd
sure.
be worth
They'd have to have mastic put in,
crack sealing,
and
right?
crack seal on top of the mastic. Otherwise you're wasting your time, I mean, crews deep.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's coming in and doing some east-west. Instead of finishing north-south, since
So what was the pricing of that first phase, if you took off Angle?
Angle's in pretty bad shape.
It is.
It is.
I don't know how much chip sealing we can get him to do now, we'd have to see where he's on his schedule.
Okay.
That's what we, if that's what you guys wanna do.
Well, did you think some of the east and west were
We had a
in
second.
better shape, ready, that could be chip sealed and,
Yeah, some of them were, some of them already been crack filled. No Second Street, Third Street.
It'd take a long time for that to dry to do it, that grass sealing.
Hmm?
It'd take a long time for that to dry, that grass sealing.
The chip to the road,
Well, crack sealing now, crack chip sealing might be too.
yeah, I think we have to wait until next year, that's why they were gonna come in with the crack fill in the next year.
Crack
Trying to chip over it. But there's some like right now that are already crack filled, if you look Second, Third Street, they're both been crack filled. Pretty much all the way across town,
so they'd be ready to chip seal.
we probably could. We could try it, hopefully, some of that didn't stick so good on some of the other cracks.
I know.
If he does that, is there any place where you can redo the ones that didn't take? Same time?
Yeah, we need him in here, sure he can.
Do you wanna check with them and see what his availability is then?
What's that?
And that's a major work, I mean. And trust me, I'm not saying it doesn't get done, just wonder if we need to focus our priorities somewhere else where there's actually more residential benefit.
Take some of his recommendations. On his phases that he,
Yeah, he went through that priority and what he thought was coming down and looked at. And that was kinda based off of what we had looked into too. Well, I definitely think we need to make sure we get the cracks in. Anything we can do to continue this process so that people see that we are trying and trying to make some progress and stuff, and then we need to get our heads together and figure out which of these projects we wanna tackle and how far we're gonna go.
Is Brock, does he have anything in the lineup right
think so.
I don't think so, I think he,
When, pretty much back, when, last time I talked to him, he wasn't even planning on doing the north end of Main Street anymore either. Down there by the Oakley.
It's already done.
He did that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
That's first one he did, this time around.
before then.
Oh. Guess I was
Maybe
being out
we
of
should
town.
pick a couple of these and get it going.
Let's
Did
check
that
on-
and get up by.
Yeah.
Francis is the first. And then we did Benton.
So we did the three that we had on.
I misunderstood him when I talked to him.
Well, I guess we can check as far as
Yeah, that's,
chipping and cracking on the bulletin board, see.
I don't think it's a bad idea to talk to him about concrete up there by the high school.
Okay,
May I ask a question? I would like the council's thoughts on sharing the information that Tyler gave us on the costs. I feel like the public would be very shocked probably to see what you guys are dealing with, the costs that are actually involved with the streets, and I think it would be really good for everybody to see that information. If you are good with that, I'll just put it on our website, write up get it to Sri, but write up something to put on our website with the costs, that we're looking at. I don't think people really realize how expensive it is.
Yeah.
So if you're good with that,
everybody okay with that? Yeah.
okay.
Okay, thanks. Theater report. Or you didn't have anything?
Oh,
One more thing on that, let's go ahead and put the cost of what was just completed too, at the intersection of Benton.
sure.
I mean, that was 44.
Do you wanna
44, so.
include things that we have done in the past and
yeah.
just kind of give a summary of where the work that you guys
Yeah.
have done, and then here's what we're looking at, that kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we had the chip sealing from last year, the intersections,
Yeah.
like, this is what we've done, this is what it's cost, this is what we're looking at, future repairs and what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, okay, I'll work on that. Hold on just a second, I gotta write myself a note.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think the theater had much of a meeting.
No, they didn't.
I do have a little bit of an update on the marquee grants. Chris and I, if I could find my notes, Chris and I worked on a grant together to submit to the Dane Jean Hansen Foundation, and we got that done. Submitted on July 7th. The amount we were requesting from them was $19,365. And then I submitted a grant request to the Community Foundation on July 10th for matching funds of $5,000. And then the two of those together covers the cost of the sign. So now we're just kind of a wait and see what happens, where we are, and then figure out where to go depending on what we receive in grant funds. So I'll keep you up to date.
I got a couple things, sounds like we're gonna have to replace some steps on the ladder.
The face to come out.
Kelly's looking into possibility of maybe trying to find some grant funding to help with getting the pool painted. Lessons and swim team will wrap up this week. Had an overabundance of people for morning and evening laps, swimming aquasize. Had a lot of parties. And she says they're planning a 5th grade swim the first week of school. Busy on parties. There was one, Warren, are you planning on talking about?
Yep.
Okay, I'll let that go from there. I don't really have anything else. There's one thing Warren's gonna discuss with her, but I will defer to her. I think that's all I really got. We've gotta figure out what we're gonna do about painting this pool.
Any questions?
We're working on transfers and included some of that in the training.
pool?
Nineteenth?
I thought we
I
did.
thought we did.
I know we
I think
talked
we
about it, but I
moved
didn't know if we actually,
Thought when we did transfers last year, I mean, we can look, but here's the thing, we have to listen to the meeting, 'cause but I thought that when we did transfers, that we had included that.
Into capital improvement.
I thought so. Now, I can't speak
I
with
don't
100% certainty, but I thought that that was one of the things. You know how when we do transfers, we talk about like $200,000 toward and.
sure,
I thought we
So
had
I
talked
think-
about the pool painting as well.
It was just a timing issue, is what I thought. I thought that you weren't gonna be able to paint it before the season started. Were you not gonna look into it after the season was over? And then drag the
Well, I
transfer?
talked to him, we went as soon as I met with that, I never had that quote back. Exact quote.
I mean, definitely don't wanna say not to apply for grants, but I believe that we included that in transfers, and then I thought that the guy didn't think we'd have to paint the whole thing. Wasn't that the case, that he thought maybe he could?
I remember
come in?
talking about that, and,
But now he's not sure, I told him we had to pull a lot of that paint off there this year, so he's,
yeah,
we might be back up to 50 plus.
And I was thinking 50 was the number we talked about, wasn't it? So maybe we need to get a quote.
well, that may just be part of what she's looking at, some grant funds for. I know there's some other equipment that she's wanting to replace, and, like some netting around the play structure, and I don't know what else she told me, but, so she's looking at some other things along those lines, but, you're probably right. We probably did
Now we're
transfer, but was it 50,000?
Now I'm doing this from memory, and
Yeah.
it's been a few months ago, so, but I felt like it was around the $50,000 mark that, you know, when we did transfers that,
Sure gives a good head start if that's the case.
and then don't forget you guys just got that little grant, I don't know what like netting costs or stuff, but that would be, we do some of that, just a thought,
Yeah,
but I don't know what
well, and that may be
costs.
part of what she's, she hasn't given me a definite list of what she was looking at for that.
Sorry,
Oh,
that
here we
we don't
go.
put in, but
She's looking at umbrellas. And possibly some new ropes. That's all the sea road top of here.
I think grants often, just my thought on that, for maintenance type things like painting the pool, I think the chances of getting a grant for that kind of thing is probably small.
Yeah,
But as
For
far as,
these
like, the
other things
umbrellas
you're
and
talking about, updates for the umbrellas, a better chance.
yeah. Umbrellas, netting, chairs, that kind of stuff. And Jen, I don't think I ever got back to you on that, but I'm still waiting to know for sure exactly what she was planning on using it for.
and no rush, but it's theirs.
Yeah,
We have been kind of looking at maybe a place to put a building up there to store chemical. We haven't come up with a great one yet, we've got a couple ideas. Awesome, right? And bring that to you guys whenever I get that.
inside, you talking about it in the back?
One place we looked at was like that far end, right by the pit,
Yeah,
put it on that end, just to, even if we just build it underneath what's already there, just put a hole in it. That way we can put our chemicals there, cause right now we put chemicals up to a firehouse and then we haul them down and load her back down here. I think it'd be safer just to have them there. But we also did look back there toward the back too, where that main deck is, where we poured all the cement.
as far as putting a storage shed there. Did you run into drainage issues there?
Not least. And we keep it off the drains, I mean, there's
Yeah.
them two drains there, we keep it off. We were just looking places, I'm sure that's be a very good idea.
That's kind of where a lot of people do their fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one, we
Yeah.
don't they walk, they use that,
Walk
walk
through
through there?
Yeah.
No, it's worth looking into and see what kind of ideas you come up with. You store it at your house.
We'll store it at the firehouse.
is up
I
there in
can
the
roll it down
firehouse.
the hill, I guess.
Yeah,
That's all I really got.
okay. I hear a motion to accept and file for report. Moved by Justin, second by Dara, all in favor. Superintendent report.
If you guys give me permission, and I might go through some places that may cost us a little money, I would like to advertise for a full-time lineman. DJ does good on secondary work and stuff, but I think he's still a little nervous around the primary. And if I leave town, I would have to go Braylon, or, so it'd just be nice to give him a good guy. But I probably like the KMU and some of the places where they get out.
Is this something you're gonna be able to keep one guy busy doing all the time?
I'll keep him busy. He may not be line work, but I'll keep him busy.
But that's my point, is that gonna cause conflicts, you think, or
With what?
with the lineman wanting to be a lineman?
Well, yeah, it's gonna cause, we're gonna have to find somebody that wants to be a jack of all trades. That's gonna be the hard part about it. We also need to find somebody that's trained, cause
Yes.
I don't have time to go train somebody all the time.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep. Okay, so the computer for the maps, we talked about replacing. Got a quote, you'll love this quote, since I have to ask for anything over $1,500. It's $1,501.
For one computer?
But,
And the labor to,
and the labor to put it, to move everything over to it. And that's actually it's smaller than the one we got now, but they say the one we got now has a 2 terabyte hard drive, and then we're not even using 500 gigabytes, so. So I figured we could take everything off, the map stuff off, put on the new one, keep the old one for people to do their thing with, so that the, be lost.
Yeah.
But it's probably 10 years old.
And we can probably pay for this out of just the regular utility fund. It's not a huge amount, so I don't think we need to get it from equipment reserve. Pretty sure we've got a budget in there. For computer purchases, I think, I know there's a line item for it, and I think there was an amount in there for this year, so we should be good going that direction.
I hear a motion to approve the 1501 purchase of a new computer moved by Kale. Do I hear a second? Second by Justin, all in favor.
Okay, just information, so we've moved like 12 yards, or 12 times this year on yards and been non-compliant. So right now we have Bud's water leak to fix, and then 3 water taps to get done, so I'm gonna start on that toward the end of this week. We try to knock it all out pretty soon, I hope. And then we'll get back to talking about streets and stuff. I did order the stuff for the fire alarm and the water computer, and getting it put on. I need permission to carry over my vacation, whatever I have left at the end of the week.
Do you have any idea how many hours that is?
It'll be, I'm gonna try to take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week off, so it'll be 30.
So less than 40?
Yeah, should be.
If he gets the 3 days taken.
If I get 3 days off,
It's supposed to storm, so probably.
so I'm not gonna get an off
No.
exercise.
No.
Well, you might get the days off, but you're not gonna get the nights off, so.
Yeah.
We'll give you the day off.
If I get done here, I'll go fight fire or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it out there.
Anybody have a problem with
Yeah.
Dan carrying over?
And
what
Jen
he's
can
got
go make
left?
copies. This one?
And like I said, I'll take 3 days off. I'll be here when the time to leave town, I'll have to talk to her later, that's fine. Good. That's it.
Any questions for Dan? If not, we'll hear a motion to accept and file the superintendent report.
I got one question.
Okay.
And amongst everything else, have any of you guys been on
Sunny Ray, what the heck?
Sunny Hill,
Sunny Hill.
Milton Hill.
That place up there,
I thought that was the case, I just,
but, and then we did people work on Francis. So a lot of the real deep hole, we poured millions at the bottom of the holes, and went back to the top with oil patch to save, so we're not oil the oil patch hole.
You been spraying the streets lately?
Yeah, I think Mike said he did get all North and South Streets done finally. I told him we're gonna have to mow, but we don't get to.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we heard he went back from the state
Well,
as far as
streets
helping out
are
with
good,
those.
it's doing pretty good.
I might get on some people here.
I'm gonna ask him.
I'm just thinking, I know there's a couple spots right by the highway that are bad.
So it's not,
I'll check. I'll ask him.
Okay.
Assistance.
you've already agreed that if we do it, then I'm gonna own it. Have you heard of it, Michael? We might as well do it.
I spoke with Michael today, and he said that they think they are at something that may be agreeable to the council regarding a new connecting link agreement. They are working on negotiations. He will loop me in as going forward. It will be me involved in it once this is resolved, but once he has that, he'll loop me and Amanda in, and then we'll have a meeting, which of course will be an executive session.
Thank you.
Mayor, motion to accept and file the superintendent report.
Someone,
Moved by Larry. Second by Dara, all in favor? Attorney report.
Out on the share, there is the purchase agreement that they proposed for, that CCDC Housing proposed for the motel property. I don't know if you have taken a look at it.
Didn't have it on mine.
It's on the share drive.
Here, let me share, I can share them down. And mine down there.
The terms of the contract that they are proposing is that they would purchase the property for $10, and the city will front half of the cost of installing the utilities and water and everything. So it's including gas. So the city, essentially what they're proposing is that the city pays them for the property. Lila had looked into the costs, and I believe the cost for the city, when all was said and done, was approximately $20,000.
After the tax rebate, it was like 10,000, and I have that here somewhere.
I have it in my email too.
A little over 10,000.
It was it has cost the city thus far a little over 10,000. This is ancillary after the contract. But so the city is already out $10,000 for this property. It is currently appraised, my understanding is at 52,
$52?
52,000. It was at the time,
We listed it.
at the time it was listed,
The county value was
15,285 or something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. And so that was what the listing price was. I think the city actually had invested into it, like I said, $20,000, and then with a rebate or a grant, there's
the bottom line.
Okay, so the city's share from the property cleanup and general fund had paid $20,029.14. There was a tax refund of $9,562.80, and the city's actual cost after refund was $10,466.34. So, this is what their proposal was. Additionally, and I will allow Jen to, I guess, supplement any additional information needed on the statement that I'm about to make. Despite the council's direct statement to have it sent to my office for review, the housing director sent it to Amanda and Jen exclusively, stated that they wanted the opportunity to explain the terms of the offer before any legal fees are incurred, so if they would look it over, gather any questions, and give her a call. And then stated that you have the right to accept, counter, or deny, which neither Jen nor Amanda does have that right. That would have to come from the council. Additionally, after this was sent to them and not to my office, as the council had directed, she called Jen and said that she had contractors ready to go and was demanding that that Jen give her an answer and that the council call a special meeting, and wanted to know why they weren't calling a special meeting. My reply email I don't think is listed on here. Essentially, I emailed her back and stated that that her email had been forwarded to me, and despite direct instruction from the council to contact my office with this, she attempted to circumvent that. She does not have the authority to circumvent a direction of the council. She does not have the authority to question Jen, essentially corner Jen and aggressively question her. And she does not have the authority to interfere with the attorney-client relationship of me as city attorney with my client of the city. She did not, I said if she wanted to respond with another, I said the contract is in violation of the public purpose doctrine. The council is all aware, everyone should be aware of the public purpose doctrine. You serve the public. If you accept a contract, it has to further the public purpose. And I stated if they wanted to get me a alternate, I will present it to the council, but if they want to get me an alternate proposal, that I would present it to the council at this point, at this time. I have not received anything from them. So I guess this is as it is. In speaking with Amanda regarding this, Amanda had stated that it had been brought to her attention at the last meeting that there had been 6 inquiries in the last 3 years while Chris had been the director. And I don't know how many more there had been when Helen was the director before her. So, as per Amanda's request, I reached out to Chris and stated, this is the email that was just printed and provided to you, that I'm reaching out at Mayor Milne's instruction. It was stated that there were inquiries, these were never presented to the council. We are requesting you provide those to the council prior to 5 o'clock on Monday to me, so I can give them to the council for their review. I received this email in response today. I'll let you read it and then read my response to it. Essentially, they stated that they're not a licensed realtor, and when people contact them about business opportunities, it's to be held in confidence, and so they couldn't have passed that information on to us. And they were answering questions about the property because their phone number was up there, but they are not a licensed real estate agent, so it would be improper for them to pass on any offers from any prospective buyers. My response to that was, I am confused and need some clarification, as if you are not listing the property and not relaying information to the city, then why is your phone number up there, and what are you doing on the city's behalf? Why is your phone number on the city's property? I received the email from her at 4:08 p.m. today. I received the email from her at 12:59 today. I responded to her at 4:08. I have not heard back from her after that point. So, that's where that sits. Lila looked into, when we had originally spoken with Helen as the director, that she was going to try to market it and put out information on it to get it sold to contacts that she had and at her meetings. And any offers or inquiries that were previously made, Helen did bring to us. And so I guess I'm not entire. I'm not sure why CCDC is involved in this. And from CCDC's point, I mean, for their, I mean, I guess to kind of cover them and protect them, if they're not a licensed real estate agent, I don't know why they're marketing it and involved, if they're not actually providing a service to the city and they're preventing the city from finding out anyone who's inquiring about the property, I'm not sure whose purpose either way that's serving.
Only thing I understand about it is back when Helen was on there, is that CCDC knew about it and it was brought to them to mainly just put on our burner to say it's here, to help get it out as an advertisement. And then it was supposed to go to the city if we got any contacts. But all we were doing was doing a flow through, trying to help market it for the city. But we weren't trying to really, well, I guess sell it, but any contacts were to go to the city. That was my understanding back when Helen was on there.
And I believe back when Helen was on there, any inquiries did come to the city,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
what we found.
And I looked in the minutes, and there wasn't any formal agreement ever.
I don't think
It
that
was kind of
just
talked
that-
about in
Yeah,
one of the meetings, and
Yeah.
that maybe a formal agreement should be, but it wasn't, and it was just an offer that she had made to
Yeah, it was
help us
never-
get the word out.
Yeah, it was never a formal agreement that I know of when it was brought up to the meetings. It
Yeah.
was just something that was brought up, that we could put it out there and help get it out to when we had people come to town and things for CCDC. And that, it wasn't that we were marketing it, we weren't doing anything, we were just kind of an advertisement in between. And it was just, kind of word of mouth, just, that's the way I understood it when we took that on. And only thing I knew, kind of a little bit more set in stone, is originally it was only to be marketed as something to do for motel or that kind of, and that's what we were supposed to tell the people. That's what I was told when I first learned of it, when Helen took it.
Yeah, and that was the original intent was we were looking for lodging, and that was kind of the earmark that was put on it.
But as for officially, there was no real official.
That all comes back to the strategic planning committee that, group of people that was the number one priority for a long time, was lodging in St. Francis. And it's kind of gone by the wayside now because of all the bed and breakfasts and the lack of interest.
We got a significant amount of grant funds specifically to demolish the building. I think it was $36,000 that we got to tear that building down and acquire the property. And the grant applications obviously did state that as well, that it was intended for housing, but it just, lodging.
So I guess where we stand now is the council needs to make a decision on the, I can't, Jen, Amanda, not Jen, not Amanda, not I, not Dan, not Lila, can say anything about the contract, the proposed contract. It is up to the council as to whether you want to approve it or decline.
I just feel where it was earmarked solely for lodging, if we change what we will allow, I think we need to open it up again, open it up to anybody under, if it's.
Oh, I'm still for waiting more business in there. That's
Well,
still.
the way that they talked, that they had inquiries that night, that last meeting,
I-
Chris,
But-
yeah,
I
But
don't know.
before we even get that far, we need a yes or no on this contract.
we can't because of.
It's been presented, so a decision needs to be made. So somebody needs to say yes or make a motion, yes or no.
No.
Moved by Justin to not accept the offer.
Based on-
The purpose
Based on
doctrine.
price.
Well, yeah, that and, what was intended to go for.
Well, and Justin and I kind of talked, the way they presented it is, it was for housing for, temporary housing for professionals. Well, is that not discrimination if they're gonna pick and choose who to? city had for it was for lodging, that's what we had marketed, so.
And it may sit there another
I had
20 years.
But that's it, if we just wanna open it up and say, we'll just sell it as is, as an empty lot, put a price tag on it of 50,000.
And whoever wants.
And then whoever
I mean-
wants it for whatever, then it's fair game.
Well, are you gonna say whatever? I mean, if you can have something,
Well, then open it for a business, or, you know,
Yeah.
if we open it other than just lodging, we could still put for commercial business to put a structure on it.
I would rather say a commercial business, yes.
But they could say that's a commercial business.
Opening it up for that might give us somebody coming in to look at,
Yeah.
which before all you said was motel. But I think she's wanting to, did we say yes or no on this?
We have a motion to not accept to decline the offer.
I'll second.
Second by Bud, all in favor,
Wait a minute, how many?
Made by Justin, second by Bud.
to decline the offer.
Thank you.
So then,
Did we?
the next thing that you'll wanna discuss is if you are opening it up and how that's going to be handled, and as also part of that, if you are just opening it up and going to list it at what the current appraised value is there going to be any role of CCDC in that, or is it going to essentially go with a listing agent and proposals will be brought to the city to discuss to either highest bidder or market, I mean, you can say,
Listing, because already we have a bias of not really looking out for the city. Can we list it as a commercial and just see where it goes?
They could say theirs is a commercial business.
Well, we don't have to accept it.
But they'd have to pay $50,000 for it now.
Right, I mean,
If we open it up,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the
Or
thing.
some,
Are we gonna go the price value, or are we going at different value?
Do we have to take it to a realtor now?
We could put our own number up
I
there.
was gonna say, we don't.
I mean, you can put your own number out there and say that you're accepting bids and you can advertise it on the website. I mean, I guess my question would be, based on the email,
I feel there's a conflict
based
of
on
interest
the email,
that they're trying to purchase the property.
and not even with them trying to purchase the property, if the city is attempting to recoup cost and possibly bring in revenue for a property, what, if any, role is CCDC going to have in that? Because as they've stated in their email, they are not licensed real estate agents. They are not passing on information, they're not passing on inquiries that are coming into them. And so the council will need to decide if CCDC will have any involvement in this going forward, and if not, if so, then what is that going to look like? And if not, then likely they need to remove their phone number from anything associated with it. Because if they are having their phone number associated with it, not passing on information to the city, and then being the only bid being submitted, that is, let's say, concerning.
Yeah, with them trying to do the bidding on it, they need to be off the sign up there, and the city needs to put their number up there. And then if they wanna resubmit a bid, I suppose we can always look at it, because we can't tell them no, but I don't like this, we're not gonna spend any more money on it. We're not gonna be out more money, so that's the first thing I have against that, but,
Good
the
point.
15,000 I thought was a pretty downright good offer for them, or they could have bought. I think that was more than a fair price for it. And then they come back with a 10 and then want us to pay 2/3 or half of it again? No way. We can sit on it and wait on our business. Now that we're getting away from the motel, I think maybe we can find a business.
Yeah, I would agree, I think if we're gonna change our intent, we need to open it up and see what,
And again, they can still resubmit a bid if they want to.
we never had it,
it.
cause Helen
Helen
kind of volunteered to take that on and try to market it for us.
Have we
but-
ever had any inquiry on that, like?
Yes,
Yeah,
Helen would
somebody
bring stuff to us, and we did have,
Justin Coolwell.
Justin Colwell and then David Butler as
Mm.
well. We've had a couple of people actually come to council and present offers. I don't know if David came, but he had an offer.
We had an idea.
He had an idea that came, so we have had.
Is there any way to open up like that again, or we market it or something? Worry someone?
You're gonna have to decide if you're gonna keep it as a hotel base, if you're gonna open it up to commercial business, and then you're gonna
I think the motel's done and gone. I don't, you know, the offers we got were kind of tiny home rentals, right? Grain bin
Yeah.
rentals.
bring it down.
And then David just kind of wanted to put,
Storage.
no, it was electrical. So,
I thought it was storage units he wanted to put up there.
Yeah, I thought it was storage units.
okay.
I don't remember for sure.
I thought he had like trailer hookups, electric.
I don't
Anyways,
remember that.
Well, again, I still say CCDC
RV,
could
maybe it
come
was
back
RV
and
storage.
That's why there was gonna be.
put another
Mm, that could have been
RV
it.
storage, that's why there'd be electrical hookups, yeah. So I guess, I just don't know, and we've had it 8 years,
2000, no, we got it in 18.
18, so 7 years, going on 7 years.
But that was under trying to get a motel in there. And I just never saw a motel going in there, there wasn't enough room. Not with the modern day motels and the new codes that you gotta have and everything to put one in, it's just gonna be downright hard to do.
So list it?
Just ourselves.
Can we not list it with the intent of bringing something in, with our stipulations?
I mean, we can put stipulation as far as we wanna put.
Is it zoned commercial?
Commercial and.
Yeah.
We've had this
Commercial,
conversation.
residential.
Isn't it both, commercial and residential?
I think it is,
Yeah.
I think it's combinations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll have to put if you want it to be commercial, you have to state that it is for sale for commercial, or the city is, I mean,
Accepting offers, I mean, we could put that thing.
I mean-
To construct a building, if it's commercial, they employ, I mean, we can put whatever kind of stipulation we want. I just think if we're gonna change course of what the intent is, we should open it up and let it be fair to everybody to, if there's been people interested for
Well, like I
commercial.
said again, CCDC can come back and make another offer, but I'm just not tickled with this offer at all. I don't,
And that's
I'm
obviously
still
not
not,
commercial.
I'm not fond of their plan, but on the other hand, they can come back and make another offer and make it at least practical.
And that's what Lauren said, they could submit another offer.
my only statement on anyone coming in and making an offer is that generally when the city is selling something or when there is something along these lines, the public purpose doctrine would state that it would, unless there was a public policy reason to the contrary, that it would go to the highest bidder. And so even if they were to come back, and they were to come back at 15, and someone else was to come back at 20, unless there's a public policy reason not to, generally speaking, it needs to go with what serves your constituents the best.
Something to consider is, I know in that offer, they wanted us to put in the sewer tax, all the different stuff. They also included Midwest Energy in there. If you, and I'm just asking this because if we start getting, if people read about this or listen to the meeting, if we start getting phone calls, are we just listing this as a piece of property to purchase as a piece of property, not with any of this extra incentive, like, well, we do half the water? It would be just you're purchasing
Just
the,
as is,
okay,
yeah.
'cause I.
With the understanding that it is not being sold to be bought and held. It will have a condition.
Certainly, I just wanted to make sure that at this point, the intention is it's not,
Well, I don't know that the council ever agreed or considered
no, right,
the contribution. That is an
Exactly.
entirely new thing, which
right,
was sent directly to you and Amanda.
yes. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, because it's gonna be easy to, there won't be many questions to answer if someone inquires about it, and we can just say that they are looking to sell it, or however you would want us to word it, and the property as is to be developed for commercial,
For a
use,
commercial business.
period. And then then we're not gonna be trying to figure out this stuff as well. Yeah, okay, I just, in case anybody calls it, it's not.
And I would say to be developed for commercial use, and in the offer, there needs to be a timeline. I mean, there's the council just discussed it today about the timeline. When the city sells a piece of property that's undeveloped, it's appraised at 52,000. And I know that it was previously listed for 15. That was 7 years ago. With very strict stipulation of commercial lodging. So I don't know if the city wants to advertise a price point and see what offers come in.
I'm still not even, I'm not too unhappy with the price point if we turn it into commercial.
But if it's valued at 52, shouldn't we try? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that would be the question. That would be the question of your responsibility as public servants, that you have a property valued at $52,000.
Could we just,
Is that the assessed value?
yeah, I don't know, it's 52 something.
52, hold on.
Assessed or market value?
That's the county appraisal.
Oh.
Assessed is lower, appraised is 52. The appraised is market,
Yeah.
The appraised value.
which is 52.
I mean, could we not market it, it's appraised at this, the city's taking bids for,
You could just say the city's taking bids.
yeah, and then that way, if somebody comes in with an offer and with a game plan of what they're gonna do, we can accept it and we can.
Yeah, as long as it,
I would suggest marketing it and saying that this is what it's appraised at, the city is, the city is accepting bids. It must be a commercial property. It must have a plan of completion. You can put, the plan of completion must be within 2 years, 3 years, whatever you wanna put. And that the bids must be submitted by, because I don't think you can just advertise it. For 7 years it has been, it has to be a motel. You can't say, hey, we're changing it, have somebody come in 2 weeks later and not really have had the word get out that is, I mean, I think you need to pick a date and people can submit proposals. And on that date, you will review it and pick what serves the best public purpose.
or if they don't match the appraisal, then we can always refuse all.
Right, or you can choose something that you believe would be in the public policy, in the best interest of your constituents, even if it is, I mean, if you get, it says it's appraised, it says it's valued at 52,000, but if the highest offer you get is 30, then the value of it is 30,000.
And they're gonna put in a business and employ a couple
Correct.
people and,
Right,
you know, then.
right.
But if there's only
It's worth-
5 come in, you have that 52 to back up on, to be able to back out and see if you can
Yeah.
find more.
Do we need to notify CCDC that they need to pull their sign? Or do we want to pull their sign now?
I had contractors into the shop today saying they were getting ready to build.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you care to share your phone conversation?
No,
I mean, there's not, Lauren pretty well covered it, was pretty uncomfortable, so, it did put me on the spot a little bit because, I mean, I can't help people with that stuff, you know, so you can talk to me all you want on the phone and I can't help it if the contractor's already gonna order their stuff and, so it was frustrating, but I think that this is gonna be a much better approach, and I think if we can get something typed up that we can put on the website, maybe even on the Facebook page, something that, you know,
I'd suggest putting it in the paper.
and the paper for sure, because I think that's gonna make all over, especially now, given the circumstances and how this has escalated a bit and.
And do we put any kind of date?
I think you should. I think the
But I
council
think
should.
we should give ample time.
Right.
You know, I don't think 2 weeks or, you know.
I agree. I mean, I think you,
Right. But
you've had it for,
so it's not just
you've had it for seven,
another
you've had it
90
for
days
7
or
years.
something.
Oh, yeah.
Another 6 months.
Right. I mean,
90 days, 90 days, 90 days. Everybody
Let's-
okay with
Do
that?
we
Hold on.
need any kind of a motion for any of this?
Not yet.
Well, we're getting
They're
there.
hashing it out so that way they.
So are we not gonna
We're
accept
getting all
the
the
bid
details.
till 90 days?
They can submit it. It's just not going to be reviewed until hold on.
It will be reviewed for 90 days.
Will this be like a sealed bid process?
Probably.
Hmm.
I would think that might be the best option, and that way there's, nobody will know what's in there until.
So,
But then if we could just type something up that specifically says sold as is, blah, blah, blah,
so we have
August, September.
the end of October, realistically, by the time we get something, end of October.
90 days would be here.
But by the time we get something in the paper and drawn up, let's go to the
Do you
last.
want to go the end of October, or do you
Yes.
want to go the first meeting of November?
Let's go to November.
How about
First meeting in November.
First meeting in November, everybody okay with that?
First meeting in
Okay.
November.
How do you know?
If you want to do it on Halloween, you can do it in my yard. I'm handing out full-size candy bars.
Open envelopes in your yard.
I will not be here.
So do we have a motion to put it out for bid, for commercial?
As is.
purpose, as is, advertise it, and, we will review the bids the first meeting in November.
Move.
Moved by Justin. Is there a second?
My next meeting isn't gonna be very fun.
More discussion?
Second.
Second by Kale. All in favor?
Is that, wait a minute.
Aaron,
Well, I guess we had 3, so.
you, we have three.
Wouldn't you abstain on that or no?
I'm not on CCDC.
Oh, yes, I thought you were.
Uh-uh. Bud's on CCDC.
I'm on CCDC. That's why I said
I'm
my
on
next
probation.
meeting isn't gonna be very fun.
But Bud voted
Yes,
yes on the listing it, right?
yes.
You raised your hand?
Yes,
Okay.
raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unanimous?
Yep.
I've still gotta go what's best for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like it or not.
Indeed. You were elected to do so.
Alright, Lauren.
I need 30 minutes of let's start with 15 minutes, we can always extend, right? I need 15 minutes of executive session for communication subject to attorney-client privilege, advice of counsel.
I hear a motion. Moved by Justin to go into executive session for 15 minutes.
I need Dan, Jen, Viola, I need everybody who's at the table.
Hold on a second, I gotta get this thing
15 minutes to resume at 9:10 with everybody at the table.
Hold on.
Do I hear a move in a second?
Who was the second?
Justin. I moved. Second.
Second by Kale, all in favor?
Okay, hold on.
Has Troy seen?
Hold up.
We're out of executive session, no decisions made, how much longer?
10 minutes.
Do I hear a motion to go back in for 10 minutes, moved by Kale,
Second.
second by Larry? We're out of executive session, no decisions were made. We need 5 more minutes, 9:30, 9 more minutes.
Sure.
For
Same topic, I mean, different topic, same reason, attorney-client privilege, advice of counsel.
Advice of counsel, 9 minutes, resume at 9:30. Moved by Cale, second by Justin, all in favor? We're out of executive session, no decisions were made. We're out of executive session, no decisions were made. Lauren, did you have anything else?
John Terry responded, he was the Idea Tech franchise agreement that I had marked up. He replied, to me. I said I would try and get to it and discuss it with the council on the 14th. I have not had a chance to review it. I was out last week, not feeling well. I haven't gotten to it, so I will let him know that, and we'll bring it up at the, I'll have it ready to go and brought up at the next meeting. I think in a precursory skim, it looks like they've implemented a lot of things that we discussed, that I had redlined, but I haven't had a chance to actually sit down and read through it word for word, so I don't want to bring it up to the council for their review until I've actually had a chance to sit down and truly read the document.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Can I hear a motion to accept and file the attorney report? Moved by Cale, second by Dara, all in favor? Treasurer report?
Just wanted to bring up, I forgot to bring this up at the last meeting, so we paid Matt Hanslake. It's in the bills tonight, but I got permission from the mayor to pay that out of cycle, cause he was needing his check, so I paid that on June 12th. And so I just need that noted,
Who is it?
asking for.
The tree trimming.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, just need that noted that I got permission from the mayor, have written documentation. But I think we've talked about, I think moving forward, when we have contractors that are having big jobs, Brock is a good, example. So Melissa sent the, bills actually before the last meeting, but we didn't have permission to pay them out of cycle. And earlier you guys were talking about the amount of that with the street project, it was $60,720. Amanda and I talked, I feel like it's a good idea maybe when it's, a significant project like that, when you guys make the motion to approve the project, the amount, where you're gonna pay it from, maybe to also include in that motion, to give permission to pay when invoiced, and then that way, these contractors, then it's not a surprise, when they want their money.
Well, I mean, if they just missed the billing cycle
Yeah.
for this month, and so now they're waiting a whole nother month, and it's a $60,000 project or a $15,000 project, that's a significant amount of money to have to sit and wait on, that maybe moving forward, we'll try to get in the habit of, when we approve it, to also make the motion to pay it when invoiced out of cycle.
Right, and we'll let the contractors know that that doesn't mean the day that you bring me the invoice, I can necessarily write the check. But within a reasonable amount of days, we'll get that cut, and then the permission's there. Anyways, the only other thing I had is I'm going to try to be gone a couple days at the end of this week, and I will not be available to come in and write checks for people or anything, so it will not be until. I think that was it for me.
I hear a motion to accept and file the treasurer report. Moved by Justin, second by Larry, all in favor. Clerk report.
Okay, hold on a second. I've got something here, but I've lost my notes. Well, while I'm looking for them, I'll mention one of them. Oh, here it is. So we have a quote here from CIC for some new municipal court software. I think the council had talked about us changing from G-Works because G-Works is going to a cloud solution. We got a quote from CIC, and I just want to say this. The G-Works software is incredibly unuser-friendly. It is the most difficult software I've ever tried to use, and that's what we've used for municipal court for many years. So CIC is, of course, what we use for all of our other things, and so it will, from everything that we know about CIC, from the support, from the product that we currently use, I think this is probably the direction to go. I looked into whether or not we could use equipment reserve for computer hardware and software, and per statute, yes, we can. So we can use equipment reserve for this. The quote is $5,750, and that includes the software, the moving our current software over, installation and training, implementation, and support. Ongoing support is $365 a year. So I'm just requesting permission to move forward.
What about travel expenses? It says estimated. Is that on top of this?
I don't think they're gonna have to travel, are they? Are they gonna have to travel here for this?
It just says reimbursable travel expenses are estimated.
Oh.
I wonder if they're gonna send somebody out to actually do on-site training.
Well, that could be, so I thank you for catching that. That would be additional.
We can ask on that too. I would say travel expenses, if we do incur anything, that's less than 1,500, I would motion that
Separately?
because we should probably pay that out of the municipal court fund if it's for,
Yeah.
if it
Mm.
is maybe for the,
Zoom, I mean, I don't.
yeah.
So you're good with this?
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Larry, second by, Justin, all in favor? Okay.
So I just wanna clarify, we're paying the actual contract out of equipment reserve and the travel expenses out of municipal court, correct? Thank you. All right, thank you for that. And then the other thing, you had approved at, the last meeting having, CCDC and their interns and all of them paint up at the roadside park. They looked at it. It's an incredibly difficult project to paint because of if you've ever looked at it, the ceiling, and just everything about the roadside park. Jessica didn't feel like they could do it. She didn't feel like they could do it in a timely manner or even do it justice and do a good job. So she went ahead and got a quote from Dan Wilkins. I'm gonna preface this with, if we're gonna have anybody else do it, we need to put it out for quotes. We can't just accept one that's been given, but with that said, the initial quote was $1913.45. I'm sorry, you had a
You wanna
question?
put it out for bids?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, we're gonna put it out for bids, okay. Because they're not gonna be able to do it. So is that what you want me to do? Yeah.
You're talking about down by the highway?
Yeah, the
Right,
one where the information kiosk is,
Yeah, there is.
Cause Helen did it before, right?
yes.
Let's see, the guys will waste so much money.
Hmm?
They'll waste so much money, can you?
I think
So,
if we're gonna hire it out, we need to put it out for bid.
okay. With that said, also, I believe we can pay for this out of, yes, because that up there has the brochures, it's kind of a focal to bring tourists and share that kind of information, so I think we can use the tourist fund for this, so, okay, that's all I'll do. That's all I had.
Mayor, motion to accept and file the clerk report. Moved by Kale, second by Dara, all in favor? Council comments, Bud?
Whatever happened to my, clerk situation?
That's on the agenda.
Do we need to do executive session?
That's, yeah, it's number 19, we're only at number 16.
Oh, okay.
It's a 3-page. We're
Still going.
We're still going, Bud. It's still on the list. Kale?
Let's see.
Larry? Sarah? Justin? Okay.
I'm gonna do the overall bid and, basically come up with a meeting with the committee so we can get the streets taken care of, kind of matter.
We already have a street shall we review the bills on ordinance 1100? See you, Lauren. Any questions on the bills? Anybody?
Question. All I do is, do we not pay rates for like service agreement or service contract?
No, we just pay them as we have incidences. I will be frank with you guys, I've considered bringing that up because it's like,
I just have a passport, I'll bring up
yeah.
passport, I think it's like, change passport.
Let me see, let me check, 'cause we had something else on it.
Well, that was another one, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that on?
But how much are we gonna pay the contractor?
That I don't know. Justin does have a point though, cause like I had to call them and get my password fixed because all of a sudden one day, my password not wouldn't work. Literally, I'm trying to find that.
Mine just locked me last night.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, but that, yeah.
Email was the other one.
Yeah, so on yours, it was a combination of, they fixed your on that ticket, they fixed your password. So pretty much every time we have to get a password fixed, it's around $30, $31.25. And then we had time clock not working, so that was all on the same day, so I have considered, maybe at the end of this year, seeing how much we've spent with them, because we've spent a lot. It just seems like we've had a lot of little stuff, but I don't,
Check and see if they have a maintenance
It's gonna
plan.
be a lot more
Yeah.
than not
and
have
I,
a contract problem.
yeah, I literally have, I wouldn't even know where to guess. I think we would have to see how much we spent in a year and then have to math code it, but it's the little things that add up. And then we had trouble getting into time clock, and then CIC got their end fixed, and we still couldn't get in. We had to have reach, whatever magic Scott did that day.
Always DNS.
So, anyways, so, yeah, that wasn't just your deal, but yeah, it is expensive, because I had mine fixed last month.
I'll move to approve the bills.
Moved by Larry, seconded by Cale, all in favor? Okay. Executive session for city clerk interview reviews.
Can I go home?
You can, cause after that, we're adjourning. After that, we're adjourning.
I got to make the
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
See ya, Sherry.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay.
There,
What,
We need a motion.
I know.
motions on executive session for
15? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know what you got, so,
What do you know?
I don't know. For 10 minutes,
Okay.
coming out at, 9:56.
Moved
Is
by,
everybody in the room there
yeah, moved by Larry, second by Cale, all in favor.
for potential applicants?
Yeah. Non-elected personnel.
No,
Okay.
We're out of executive session, no decisions were made.
I'll move that we,
Second.
I'll move that we offer the, clerk position to one of the applicants.
Okay, it's been moved by Larry,
Second.
second by Justin, all in favor. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Okay.